You ever feel like you're just faking it? Like everybody else knows, they have it together, but you're one mistake away from being found out? Like you're a fraud? If so, you're not alone. Some of the most famous and most successful people in the world have felt exactly how you feel. Albert Einstein, he was obviously changed physics, incredibly brilliant scientist, but he said that he thought that he was an involuntary swindler because he felt like a fraud. Tom Hanks has talked about it. Kate Winslet's talked about it. Even Steph Curry, one of the greatest shooters of all time in the NBA, has talked about feeling this imposter syndrome. Like they don't deserve the success that they've received. Well, here's the reality. That's not just emotional. That's spiritual, because deep down, this is an identity conversation. And maybe you've told yourself before that you're not enough, that you don't belong, that you only matter if you perform. See, that's the same lie that the enemy whispered in the garden to Adam and Eve. God hasn't given enough. He hasn't provided enough, and he's holding out on you in some way. And if you'll just eat of the fruit, then you'll be like God. Everybody else knows something you don't know. There's something out there that you are lacking, something that God hasn't already provided. So then you've got to continue proving. So we strive and perfect. But what if instead of hiding behind all that stuff, behind all the titles and the filters and the hustle and trying to earn and prove, what if what you are actually supposed to have is supposed to be received? See, the more we chase validation, oftentimes the more we lose ourselves. And the more that we get validation, sometimes it becomes this weight that we carry when we don't feel like we deserve it, because we're essentially stealing God's glory. But what if instead we could rest in the reality of who we were made to be? In Ephesians 2:10, it says that we're God's workmanship, his handiwork. His poema is the language that's used there. It's a Greek word, and it's like if you had a mosaic, and there's this beautiful mosaic, and it requires all these broken little pieces to be put together to put one beautiful picture on display. That we're God's handiwork. We're part of the great display that he's putting on, and even in our brokenness, even in our weaknesses that he's made known. But in Ephesians 2 verse, it goes on, it says that we are God's workmanship, created in Christ Jesus to do good works, which God prepared for us in advance. So you're not a fraud. You're actually part of his design. And when you start living from that truth and stop trying to prove your worth, this grip, the imposter syndrome, this lie that we have, and you're not enough, you've got to prove it, you only matter if you perform. The moment you stop living for that approval, you stop performing, and you start living not for approval, you're living from approval, from God's approval on your life. See, that's when imposter syndrome loses its grip, because you can't be an imposter when you're living out what you were intended to be. Now, when you're copying somebody else and you're trying to prove that you're as good as or compete with, and then maybe that is a fake, because you're not living out God's design for you. But God only makes originals. He doesn't make copycats. They're not fakes and spoofs and spin-offs. So instead of saying that you're not enough, maybe it's saying something like this: I'm not everything that I can be or even will be, but I'm exactly who he's made me to be right now in this moment. That's freedom. Do you mess up? Yes. Do you make mistakes? Yep. Does sometimes people think better of you than what you think of yourself? Yeah, that's true. But you also see yourself all the time, and they only sometimes see you in some of your best moments. And some people only see you in your worst moments. Some people choose to see different ones, and you're seeing the whole picture. And God sees the whole picture. He's promised he's not done doing a work in you. And he's created you as his handiwork. If this resonates with you and you want to know more about imposter syndrome, I recently gave a full TED talk on it. A link to that will be in the description and in the comments. You can check it out. It's called The Lie That Built You Will Break You Unless You Get Real. And I unpack a little bit more how to live in freedom from imposter syndrome. Talk about my own experience with it as well. It dives deep into how to identify your lie and how that lie can shape your identity and how you can rebuild on the truth. And we'll pin that. We'll put that in there so that you can see it. Watch The Lie That Built You Will Break You, my TEDx talk. And until next time, live unleashed and on mission.